Okay, so this video is going to give you some kind of shortcuts if you find yourself in the position where you need to redo your resume or maybe um, update it, or you just want to start fresh and make a nicer looking one. This will kind of give you a quicker start to that process. To format everything by yourself can take a while, and it's a lot of trial and error, and sometimes you make the whole document and you still don't think it looks very good. So these are some quick ways to get around to that. If you do use Microsoft Word to make your resume, which I think a lot of people do, you can actually search right here. When you first open up the program, you can search for resumes. And this might look a little bit different from what you see depending on what version of Word and whether you have Windows or are using a Mac like I am right now. But if you scroll through, there are a few different options that you can take a look at and choose, and then basically you would just be replacing the information on them with your own information. When it comes to resumes, it helps to do a little bit of research to see what the standard is in your particular field. Sometimes employers look for something different depending on the industry. I tend to think that it's a good practice to just believe that less is more. Um, I personally don't want my face on my resume, and I wouldn't really want lots of fancy coloring going on, so I would probably be inclined to just pick this one. Oh, it says bold resume. Okay, maybe I'm bold. So, from here, you're just able to go ahead and replace the information. I think a nice thing to include on a resume that not everybody does is an objective. And in other words, that is, what is your goal as a professional? What are you looking to do at a company that you can join? Then, as far as experience goes, you want your name of employer and your job title and the dates that you were there. And I think depending on how much you took away from that experience, having 2 or 3 bullet points that encapsulates your experience there. And I've always been told to start each bullet point with an action word, a verb. So it's did this, ran the store floor for a manager, served customers with excellent customer service, something to that effect. And you want the bullets to all show something different, right? There's not that much space on a resume, so you don't want any wasted words or wasted descriptions. Typically, a resume it should stay on one page. However, for people who have more experience, or maybe they have a combination of relevant experiences and volunteer opportunities or something like that, you may want to spread down onto a second page. I think the thing to remember with a resume is that while a lot of it is, of course, about the information on it, you definitely send a message to an employer just by how it's laid out visually. You want it to be organized, easy to read, and appealing to look at. So if you wanted to make another section and you say to yourself, how the heck do I make one of these lines? One thing that you can do is just copy and paste as you need to create more of these little sections. And you can also take things away as you need. So that will help you build your resume without having to completely start it from scratch and have something that looks a little bit more basic and perhaps not as eye-catching or as impressive to a potential employer. Another thing you might use, because you need a subscription to Microsoft Word to use it, and that's not accessible to everyone, the website Indeed actually has this professional resume template. And the way you can find this is just simply Google Indeed, if I could spell, resume template builder. And what's really great about this is that you do not need a program. You don't have to pay for a subscription. You can simply build a resume with one of the templates that they offer you. And they give you a number of different options depending on your preferences and how you want to present yourself. So there's the minimalist option, creative, clean, simple. So you would begin then filling out this information, and then once you're done, there's a download resume button at the top. It will send it down into your little download section, and then you would want to open it. It uses Adobe Reader, and then you can download and save it, and then you would want to put your last name, so John Smith resume, and save it. And that way you would be able to send it out or to employers or upload it to various sites that you might be applying to companies on. But what's great about this is that it really does the work of formatting for you. You don't have a whole lot of customization available to you in terms of how it's laid out, which can be a double-edged sword, but I think it's a very easy, quick way to make a nice, clean document without stressing over how it looks. You can really just focus on what you're adding to it. And so remember, it's a good practice to show any jobs in the last 5 years, right? It doesn't look all that great if you go too far back, because it appears maybe you haven't worked or you haven't kept up with industry trends or something to that effect. So if at all possible, you want to put your most recent working experience first. So you would go from most recent to least recent. And it doesn't hurt to do a search either through Google or by asking for help from somebody at the library to just find out what some standards for your industry are, whether you're applying to a restaurant or to an admin assistant position or to a retail store. It's important to kind of frame your experience with what they're looking for. And then Indeed, you should know, is a site. You can apply to jobs for it, and that will be another video. But a lot of people who use the site don't actually realize that they have this resume builder, and I think it's really well put together and really helpful for people who are not the most comfortable on word processors like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Okay, I hope this gives you a good starting point and you can make use of this information. Stay tuned for more videos about job searching